Welcome back to the Rock and Roll channel. As many people know, Florida State announced today that Mike Norvell is staying for next year. I, I wanted to take the day to think about it, process it a little bit, and then attack the topic. I was also working on my vlog from the Florida State NC State trip over the weekend. Yeah, the game sucked, but I had a great time in Raleigh. Thanks to the Noel fans that were there, uh, that I got to interact with. Thank you to the Unconquered group. Jesse would plant the spear. TJ with double fries, no slaw. Savannah, who covers NC State. Just a great time. Great time, in spite of the game. But man, I wanted to give my thoughts on today, and I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be disrespectful. That's not me. But I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm done with that. I'm not saying I pulled punches before. Let me rephrase that. I'm just, I just always would just try to stay away from the conflict that Mike Norvell has brought to the fan base and the admin as well with him. And I'm not saying he's a bad person and just brought conflict. It was just how bad the product's been, how really bad the product's been. And today was just such an, from the admin point of view, such an insult. When I read their statement about him staying from Peter Collins, President McCullough, and Michael Alford, the athletic director, it was the biggest insult ever. Because what it said to me was that this whole so-called comprehensive review they were going to do at the end of the year, they announced after Stanford, was never happening. Guess what, people? It was never happening. He was staying no matter what. This was the planned time that they were going to make that announcement because they knew there were no more home games left. They've got their home attendance for the year. They've made their home revenue for the year. No chance of him getting booed there mercifully by our fans. Not that I don't know if we would have. I'll be honest. Our fans are a pretty cool group. Yeah, you have your bad apples in every bunch, but overall, man, they're pretty cool. But still, it was planned. It was calculated. And I'm going to really harp on the administration because I was really angry today about it. As a longtime Seminole fan, over 30 years, alumni, booster as well, I was insulted by today. Even more than the comprehensive review that they did after Stanford, which was pretty bad. That I was insulted today. People say, oh, they do care. They just don't want to waste the money to pay him not to coach. Guess what? We were never assigned this buyout. This current group. And if anyone's in the comments and wants to give your opinion too, I'd love to hear it. If you watch this after, want to give comments there, great. I will read them. I'll comment back to you. I just wanted to get this stuff off my chest. As I was saying, the buyout, sorry. This buyout was not assigned to you. You agreed to this buyout. You proposed this deal when you thought Mike Norvell was going to Alabama. Did you once say to yourself, hey, if this thing goes south and something goes wrong for whatever reason, are we prepared to get out of this? Are we? Guess what? This today shows that they never were prepared to do it and that they never thought about that possibility. I'm not mad at them for that deal they gave Mike Norvell 2 years ago. We all thought it was a good deal at the time. We thought with the ACC lawsuit, it would have been a real bad look to lose your coach to the team that snubs you. I get it. I wasn't upset at the time of the deal. But obviously these smart, so-called super smart businessmen, Peter Collins, A.D. Alford, McCullough, these super smart guys who are in a position that we can't dream about because they're so much smarter than us. Ralph, what's up, buddy? But comprehensive review didn't guarantee a new coach. It meant to look at all. No, it is, Ralph. And I appreciate your comment. Spartan Knoll, 71. Great dude from Hawaii. One of my favorite people. It was never happening, though, Ralph, in my honest opinion. It was never he was staying no matter what. Because there's no way since that email or statement, whatever it was from Alfred, was released, that you saw enough to make you say, okay, we're good. This is front office stuff. They didn't just see this stuff after Stanford. and decide, oh, we're going to make structural changes to Florida State front office. This is, we don't have the money to spend, or we do have it, but we're going to be in a horrible position. So we're going to now pull this lever. Just like you couldn't fire him, you didn't want to fire him after last year because of the contract. The lever you pulled last year was the new OC and the new DC. This is the lever now because you're stuck with Mike Norvell. You're stuck. And you know what? I'm sick of Mike Norvell now. I am. I kept playing the card of, yeah, he hasn't been good, especially the last 2 years overall. But he's a good dude. He's a good dude. He cares. If it doesn't work out, it's not due to a lack of trying. There's no way that the guy who preaches all the time about response and sacrifice and this and that, he's probably not getting his message through to the players, especially on the road. He is, if you have enough pride in yourself and you say to yourself, man, it is not working out for me at Florida State, it is obvious, then you say to yourself, if I supposedly care about this place so much and it means so much to me, I know he doesn't want to leave money on the table. I get it. But you know what? You go into the office and say, can we work something out? Do you think I'm the guy still? I'm sure he told him, I'm the guy, I'll get this fixed. Don't worry. And I don't know what was said in the meeting. I don't care. I'm done with Mike Norvell. I don't want to hear anymore that he's a nice guy. If he was such a nice guy, he wouldn't have held this up like this. I feel like today was the message that we are held hostage by Mike Norvell and Jimmy Sexton. That's what it was. And we have a gutless administration who allowed it. If I'm the administration, and I don't know if they've done this or not, I don't know if they've discussed with Jimmy Sexton about what a buyout would have been like if we could have worked something out like Penn State did with James Franklin. Now, I understand if Mike Norvell goes in the market, he's not getting a fraction of the money James Franklin got. I got it. But I'm saying I don't know if that worked out. But what I would have done is I would have pulled a page out of the 2007 playbook from Florida State. I know this is a different group of people, but if you remember that time when we were in nasty negotiations to get Jimbo Fisher, nasty, Florida State released a statement. The president at that time, TK Weatherall, I think the athletic director too, and they wrote, after long negotiations with Jimbo Fisher, we have decided to move on to a different offensive coordinator candidate. And what do you know? The next day, Jimbo Fisher, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going. I want to come. I want to come. I would have done something like that. Because that sends a message that, man, we're tired of Jimmy Sexton holding everybody hostage. Every school has had probably a lot of problems with Jimmy Sexton over the years. I understand he represents the next guy you're going to go after. I get it. But if you send a message like that publicly, you're also sending a message to your fans that, man, we know we suck, that we have not been good. We made a bad decision. We tried to get out of it, but financially, it's not good for us. And the parties involved, Sexton and Norvell, weren't going to make it happen with us. I would have loved that. Because it would have showed, man, we're not going to get bullied. And you know what? I think they would have come around and done something because Mike would have known then, man, this is not good for me here. Today was just a vote of confidence for him. That's all it was. And I'm sorry if I'm being rude in any way to people, abrasive. I'm really trying not. But I waited a while to go live today. And the more I thought about it, the more angry I got. I've never, as a Florida State fan until today, even the comprehensive review, that talk was pretty bad after Stanford. But today, I never felt more like insignificant as a Florida State fan. I understand wins and losses happen, man. I was always happy to give it to the boosters, even after tough seasons. Today, I was told, no matter what, you're still going to stick around. You're still going to be there. No matter who our coach is, no matter what it is, deal with it and give your booster money. No, I'm not. I did a comprehensive review. Don't think it's a good investment. So, and I don't give that much, in case you're wondering. But I always say, if you give $1, it's $1 more than you had before. So that's the only way. I wanted to listen to some of the media people that I like and trust and get their take on it. And if I don't use them to form my own opinions. Trust me, if you hear me now, I form my own opinions on my own. Let me be clear there. But I like to get the pulse of what's going on, the sense of what's going on. And I listened to the first one I listened to was War Chant. It was Aslan, Corey Clark, and Jeff Cameron. Corey, as much as I love him, it was tough to listen to him today, making the jokes about things and this and that. And I don't think today was a joking day. But I get it. That's his personality. Jeff, you could see the pain. You could see it where he was like, how do we even discuss this coach anymore? How do we even do that anymore? You're basically, based on this front office system you're supposedly setting up, which we got no details about. So that takes a long time to set up. So basically, you've said you're stuck with him for a few more years. No matter what his record is we want to take away play calling from him, which you did, rightfully so. And now we're taking away player evaluations from him if you're setting up a front office, because he's not good at that. And he's not good at recruiting. So that front office will have to really do the lion's share there. What is he here for $10 million a year? I don't know if he's restructuring his deal or not. I don't care. Yeah, actually, I do. Because if he was going to restructure his contract to stay, then he would have restructured his contract to leave. I get it. You don't want to leave. He likes it here. Whatever. But at some point, you have to look in the mirror and say, I'm doing more damage than good at a place. And that's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. We are going to feel these ramifications for years to come based on how bad Mike has been the last 2 years in so many different ways. I'll be curious to see what attendance is like next year. I won't have any excitement for the team, that's for sure. I don't care who they bring in. I don't care who they bring in. If you don't trust the man up the top, it doesn't matter what you got around it. I cannot drive a race car. Put me in the nicest race car, and you're not going to see that awesome race car at its full potential, full capability. What's up, Lou? How you doing, man? Appreciate the checking in here. The Dolphins. Yeah. Hope all's well with you, buddy. Yeah, I was saying that race car is not going to go to its fullest potential. Right now, you have as broken a car as you have, and you're just like, we're going to throw money at it. We're going to throw money at it in the hopes it starts running. That's what it is. Very frustrating day. Very frustrating day. I really felt like the admin, they can talk about like the Peter Collins line about we got to be smart, this and that. Well, you weren't when you re-signed him. Maybe it was at the time. Yeah, okay, you were smart at the time. Now it turned out to be a bad investment, which happens. But it's your job to fix it. You got to, if I get into a mess, it's my job to get myself out of it. Not say, deal with it. That's what I felt they're doing now. I felt the thing after Stanford game was now fake. They were never doing a review per se. They haven't done that. Realistically, what changes do you expect to happen? According to that, they're going to restructure the whole organization. Didn't give Timothy. I appreciate the chat here. They're gonna exactly, Jake. Thank you. But Timothy, get back to your question first. They said they're gonna restructure the whole how they run things at Florida State. Basically, taking more power out of Mike's hand, but still keeping him so they don't have to pay the buyout. We'll see how it works out. I don't really care at this point. I mean, I care. I love Florida State. I'm the Rock and Roll Channel. I wouldn't have this name if I didn't love Florida State. But today was a gut punch, man. Today was a gut punch. Even if it was awful. But Jake, they should have gone into this year with a strategy of an exit plan of what we're going to do, because look how bad last year was. I don't think they had a plan. I think they were so blind in this offseason. This whole front office thing should have been done last year, because you saw how bad of a recruiter he is. And then after Bama, I think they really thought, smooth sailing now. How'd that work out? JP will be dismissed for sure. Maybe Tokars. Yeah, there's a lot of coaches who still shouldn't be on staff. That's why I pushed back when a lot of people said to me, oh man, Mike really cleaned house after last year. No, he changed the top 2 positions, a couple others here and there, but a couple ones that you knew shouldn't have been there. We're back. JP, Tokars, who hasn't recruited any quarterbacks, has done nothing for development. JP makes $800,000 on special teams, and look how bad we were the other night. and hasn't really done much in recruiting. But that's Mike Norvell for you. That all comes from the top. Derek Ray should never have been our recruiting coordinator. And no one's talked about this on any man, these college coaches are egotistical maniacs. Don't let the press conference Norvell, who stutters and says, all the time, fool you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ed, I was just saying that as well. I don't know if you just checked in now. Trust me, Mike is an egomaniac who probably doesn't believe he's the reason right now that we're so bad. And I understand coaches are the most stubborn people, like you said, egotistical. But it is what it is. It's today was a disgrace at Florida State. Today was basically saying we got into a horrible business investment, and as a fan base and as a university, we have to wear it. And we're going to throw money at the problem, and it's not going to fix it. And guess what? Next year's schedule is harder than this year's. All right, great. So everyone's like, "Oh, we'll just throw more money into NIL." If I'm a quarterback who's a top quarterback, and I'm offered, let's say, $500,000 to go to Florida State, 300 to 200 to go to Ohio State, what's a better investment for me? Maybe Ohio State, where they send you to the league and you compete for titles and don't play for someone who hasn't developed anybody other than the quarterback he inherited. And most of that development was done by Kenny Dillingham, not Mike Norvell. So, yeah, I'm really on a rant here. I'm sorry if I'm coming across. I've never really done this before, but I want people to know that, man, if I'm upset about something that Florida State did, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm just not going to get personal. Lou from Dade, once again, my buddy. The whole ACC sucks in football, and adding Stanford and Cal didn't help. Yeah, even SMU to a degree we thought, but not really. They've been good. ACC's football is a joke. So this is why our record the last 2 years is even more embarrassing. We're not exactly in the SEC or Big Ten. So that's why sorry if I'm saying the I'm trying not to do the knows. I agree, Lou, and thank you. My buddy Chris, keep climbing, brother. If they still use that catchphrase, Jeff Claremont today at the end of their live show on War Chant was like, "Stop with the keep climbing. We're exhausted from it." I was like, "Great line, Jeff." Lou, thank you. Hope it gets figured out. Hey, man, thank you, man. And I want to get back to those Florida State Miami games where it's top 5 both ways. Both teams have so much NFL talent that you just go, wow. It's been a long time since we had that. Miami had that type of team this year. We obviously didn't. And people thought we did going into the game. Nine Cruz, man, I appreciate these comments, guys. Are they keeping Mike because they need the ACC? It wasn't. No, you know what? Absolutely. I don't know the finances. It's a great question. I think the move to a conference now is on hold for a couple of reasons, because now that they're getting a little more piece of the pie from the ACC, they might say, "Hey, if we're only 5 or 6 million behind Florida in the SEC, why go there and take on that juggernaut and not stay in the SEC? I mean ACC if the money's comparable, almost comparable." So that's why I'm not sure. I'm sure that's on hold right now. We have not heard from a while about conference realignment. They got what they want from the ACC. I think they're content to stay at least for a little while, at least until the Big Ten renegotiates their TV contract. That being said, it was big news the other day, which I was actually happy about. No one's talked about it. Is Florida State is partnered up with Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, and why you might say, how does that affect football? Because Big Ten is huge on research and the medical side. So us doing that sends a message there. So I like seeing that. I don't think even joining a new conference right now and getting a bigger piece of the pie is going to fix the problem we have at head coach. So that's the thing. That's what I'm upset about. I was upset in conference for a while because I thought we had the right head coach. It doesn't matter where you go. I mean, we're just going to play a tougher schedule with this guy. Yeah. And okay, but that was a great point about the conference buyout. Ed, once again, we could have had Derek Nicholson as linebackers coach. Norvell. Yeah, I knew he was at Miami for a bit. I don't know what it was with that. It was interesting that Papuchis, who was okay with the ends, not great. You just moved him there because you wanted to keep him on special teams. And when you start pushing people around, they better be good, really elite recruiters. because you just had to have him on staff. Um, that wasn't the case with Pat, especially this year. And I understand he didn't drop the ball for Squirrel the other night. I understand it wasn't his helmet that was hit. It was Kirkland, but it's just a confluence of events there as well. Ed need to get away from these. Yeah. Oh, I want out of the ACC so bad, so bad. I've been leading the charge for that before it was even a thing. But that's what I heard was that they want to see how these payouts go in the ACC with the bigger piece, and see if financially it makes sense, kind of like they did with Mike. Spartan Knoll. 28, yeah, 28 to 30 will probably be the next college football shakeup, just my opinion, of course. No, and it's a great one because I think that's when the TV deals come up. And you wonder, maybe it's not talked about, but it was an understanding in the settlement with the ACC that we wouldn't leave first chance we got. And what was upsetting about was today is I've been saying how great our admin's been, how in lockstep they've been with Norvell when we thought he was going to Bama. I know it was a bad investment at the time. Like, I'm not going to do revisionist history. I thought it was great at the time, but I wish they had had a plan of what do we do if it doesn't go well. There should always be a plan. What if? I don't think they thought about that at the time. I really don't. Or Mike wouldn't be our coach anymore. Or who knows? Maybe they love him so much they keep him no matter what. Uh, but that's what it was. Today was a big, yeah, F you to the fans. Uh, Man, I think I kinda just ranted for a while. Yeah, 22 minutes. But, if you know me, you know I don't like to come on and do this. I've never really done this, maybe once. Uh, I just really was angry, and I know a lot of Knowles who are angry today and won't go, can't go on YouTube and talk about it, and, it is what it is. I don't like doing it because I don't like, man, I love Florida State, like, I bleed Florida State, and no one could have predicted the last year. No, 100%. That's why I said I'm not gonna do revision Timothy. It's a great point. Absolutely. I really think the snub broke Mike Norvell. He is a completely different person since it. Completely different. You look at his body language on the sideline, you see how he conducts himself at press conferences. I mean, all the losses that have been mounting have added to it, but he's just a different person. And he had a fire and an energy about him before that snub, good or bad, what the team was doing that you just couldn't help but love. Man, this guy is somebody. This guy I'll run through a foxhole for. Now you see him on the sidelines, just mm. And I understand with his play calling taken away, it's less to do, but you just don't see him that involved anymore. I mean, Jeff Cameron had a funny joke today. What are you gonna do with the more you keep taking away from him while still keeping him? You just gonna put him in the crowd and have him just be a cheerleader for the team, or just have him talk about the game while he's in the crowd? Um, I shouldn't really laugh at that because I was saying I didn't like how Corey was being a jokester. But I was funny. Uh, no, you're right. But you have to have a plan, though, Timothy. That okay? Can we can we get out of this if it goes south? Did you ever think you would see? You know what, Spartan Knoll? Uh, no, but after I never thought Jacksonville State would come in and beat us the way they did at Doak. So I guess anything's possible. But you know what? Is that it really different than Wake Forest shutting us out in 2006? Tonight's rock and roll is rant and roll. Man, Lou, I'm stealing that one. I am stealing that one. What's up, Gianni? How you doing, buddy? Why don't you play Stary? Yeah, I thought they kept playing Tommy because A, what they're paying him, and B, because Mike's in a win now situation. But if you basically told us today he's here for maybe 2 more years, 3 more years at the why not? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't think Tommy was the sole reason we lost the other night, though. Um, but we can't score on the road, so I don't know. Do you want his first game to be in the swamp? Like that's a tough ask. Um, but uh, I I've had enough of the Tommy Castellanos experience for next year. Excuse me, one sec, guys. Okay, I'm back. So sorry, I had to get something to drink. Rant back to the rant and roll. I like that name, Lou. Uh, um, yeah, it's just a tough ask. We have not had a real quarterback in a while between DJ and Tommy, a true quarterback. Enough with this stuff. Enough with these gimmicks. Enough with this. Get a real quarterback. Uh, 10 million. We probably would have given him more to leave, Chris, if we had just worked out a fairly structured buyout. Like, look in the mirror and saying, that's why I don't ever want to hear Mike say again, nobody cares about this place more than me. That's not true. There's been people who've been around the program a lot longer than him who've given a lot more than he has. I'm not saying he hasn't. He has given his all, but he's only been here 6 years. There's people who've been here around 30, 40. Oh, sorry. This therapy sessions. It's been good for me. So that's what I think about that. I think we could have 20, 25, I don't know, 30. Jimmy Sexton's telling him you're not taking less. That's what it is. But I don't know if that was even discussed with the agent and Mike. I really don't. I don't know if they had the cojones to do it. Ed, once again, heard Gus. Yeah, I heard that too for the first time the other day. I don't know how serious that is. But if the guy who you brought in to save your job leaves after 1 year who didn't do a great job, now we got to trust him to hire another coordinator? Or do you have this whole front office thing you're talking about do that? I don't trust him to do that. TC is, yeah, at times, yes, and no. But you knew that with Tommy coming in. He's high risk, high reward. You can't trust him to be a consistent passer for you. And once he had that injury against Kent State, uh, so much of his game was taken away. So, but I don't think he plays his tail off for us. I don't think he's been like as inept as DJ was last year. Gianni, once again, buddy, what's up? Yeah, sink or swim. Look at Pitt. That's true, man. That's a good point about Pitt. Um, their quarterback's been really good, and he won at Georgia Tech last night, which is impressive. I'm not a practice, neither is a media. For one more game, I just don't think it makes sense to bench Tommy at this point. But we're on the road, so why not? Maybe for the bowl, play him. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But yeah, if anybody else has anything they want to share, I'd love to hear it. Never really done a rant like this before. I hope I never have to again. I was driving home tonight, and I was like, "That's it. I'm going live, and I'm just gonna say my opinion." Like, I knew a lot of people that said, like, "Man, our admin's a joke. They don't care about us. They don't take football seriously," and I always push back every time. I mean, now I just say I'm not saying that's completely the case. Well, even though I kind of said that earlier, but you can't deny it if people think that. I can't give a pushback on it. That's what I'm saying. Basically, you were told by some people today that we're richer, we have money, you don't, and we're going to do what we want, and you'll just deal with it. There was no case. I mean, it was the biggest joke. Those things, what Alfred said, what McCullough said. Peter Collins was a little better. I still didn't love it. I just don't. I think what upset me about today was it just made me feel like if they were going to keep Mike the whole time, which I'm 90% sure in my head they were, they might as well have just done it after Stanford or after excuse me. Oh, sorry. They should have done it after the Wake win, the Vatek win, when there's a little bit of a buzz for a victory. Why you waited till a horrible performance against an NC State team to do it is beyond me. When your AD is from Central Michigan and your president's from Princeton, how do you expect? Man, Dwayne, that is so true. I mean, Alfred just spent time at USC and Oklahoma, so he should know about understand it a little bit. And time with the Dallas Cowboys. I know they've struggled for a long time, but they are America's team. But absolutely, man. You could tell our president's an academic, and he just saw numbers and said, forget it. They'll deal with it. I don't think – I mean, our old AD before Alfred took over, David Coburn, who was there just for a temporary purpose and was there just to be the numbers guy to get us out of a bad financial issue, said 6-6 will never be the standard here. But today you were told that is the standard. Deal with it. But man, great quote there. Thank you, Joanne. Um, Gianni, once again, brother, not buying out Mike's. Yeah, of course they had the resources to do it. They had the resources to buy Mike out. That I know. Maybe it wasn't a smart investment. Maybe it's. I get it. You were throwing a lot of money. But guess what? It's kind of made up money if you think about it. It's the athletics department because you think about it. You made up a contract with made up money. This would be a buyout if we leave. Uh, but we don't really have that money. Well, that's what you do. You have Mike was is owed nothing up front if we fire him. Where like Brian Kelly was 30% or somebody was like that. Uh, so bless up. You too, Ralph Spartan, though, my man. Thank you. Lou, how is this forgetfulness? I appreciate the question. Has there ever been no? I can tell you that no. Dion really ruffled a lot of feathers post his time at Florida State. He's never really been involved with the program. And I'm not saying it's his job to give money and always be there, but he only seemed to come around when it's beneficial to him. So he didn't get along with Jimbo Dion. I know that. There was never a push. And when Dion's name came up the first time, because of him, he had never been a head coach a day in his life. He just fired Willie Taggart. You're going to take a chance on that guy who's never coached before? So they weren't behind him. And then Dion is just, he's never been a friend to Florida State for a guy who played there. He even made that clear when they asked him, yeah, you went to Florida State. And he said, no, I never graduated from there. I graduated from somewhere else. So never been a push. He's not like, it's not one of those alumni that like, man, we're like, that's Dion. That's Dion. We're like that for Derek Brooks. We're like that for Peter Warwick. We're like that for, I'm talking about like the legends. So many of those guys. Dion's no. I thought it'd always be funny if we just gave away his number because his number is retired. Like, yeah, decided to unretire it. He would go ballistic and I'd laugh. But that's a great question, though. Thank you. Thank you, Lou. Joanne, he was in marketing for those programs in Dallas. That's true. That's true, Joanne. Man, you're bringing it, man. I appreciate it. What's the breaking point? What do you predict? Honestly, I would have had a great answer to that question before 1 o'clock today. What do you predict needs to happen for Mike to get fired? I think a serious reduction in booster and ticket sales. Uh, the cost benefit analysis, they're going to lose a lot by keeping him. We can talk about the buyout. We can harp on that. Trust me, they're going to lose a fortune keeping him. They can't talk about that. I get it. What do you think? What do you predict? Well, next year's schedule doesn't get any easier. And the buyout isn't that much cheaper after next year. It's not like we're saving a fortune, 20, 30 million by doing it next year. Then I might understand a little bit. So they might be saying, well, this whole front office structure thing we're doing takes a few years. So we're focused. I did hear that from a source the other day. Not a source that like calls me. I happen to be leaving the hotel in Raleigh and someone kind of connected started talking to me in the lobby at the hotel and said to me, and this is before this was announced today. So I was kind of prepared for this, but it still obviously didn't matter. He said to me, they're really focused on changing the whole structure. I literally said this to me yesterday morning at 6:30 a.m. in a lobby, and head coach is part of that. He said to me, but they may have to put that on hold to do this. That's why I kind of got excited that it might happen. And he said to me, the money's there. The money's there. But he was spot on about that whole front office restructure, which I think they had no plan for it in the statement. It was just words. It was just, yeah, we're doing this. So that's what I think. As far as what it takes, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. 2 years without winning a conference road game, 2-10 last year, 5-6 now. Some embarrassing losses. I just don't know. They have the money. They just spend too much to sue the ACC. They didn't spend that much to sue the ACC. It was like 2-3 million. That they can swing that. They don't want to spend for about. That is true. They can say they have money. Today they came across as we're broke and we can't do it. Timothy, once again, man, I appreciate this stuff, guys. Maybe they thought next year would be better timing based on the job. Okay, this is great. This is a great question. And here's the only way, and I have a problem with playing devil's advocate. Anybody who knows me, I love to play devil's advocate, but this one is true, I think. And I don't do it to be rude, playing devil's advocate. I love just doing things from both sides. Uh, I think that could become the new norm in college football, where there's a lot of big job openings every year. Except for Florida State, every school is showing how impatient they are and waiting even more now. Brian Kelly had a decent record, got fired. I understand there was a lot of stuff with him outside of football, what he was doing. I understand, but between Brian Kelly, between a lot of other coaches, man, they're not waiting around these coaches. What if Michigan opens next year with Sharon Moore? What if Brent Venables has a year that's not great next year? Oklahoma's open. Dabo and Clemson's going to happen at some point. I think every year there's going to be big job openings. So it's not a case of, man, we don't want to enter this year, because I think that's the norm every year. I think it's a cop out on their part if that was the case, to be honest. You can find someone good to coach at Florida State. That's why I really will never get into the whole bring Jimbo Fisher back talk. Spartan, no. Mike can design and scheme good offense. He needs talent to run it and the wisdom from experience when to call it. Okay, I agree with you. But you can bring in the talent. You still have to game plan. You still have to prepare. You still have to get players bought in. We haven't seen that in a while. That's what I think. I don't trust them to do that stuff anymore. You have to really try hard to not win an ACC road game in 2 years. You have to try hard. You should win some ACC games by accident. So that's why I don't have faith in him to do any of that stuff anymore. But man, we thought that stuff though 3 years ago. That's for sure. Smart to know you're bringing it tonight. Everybody is. You guys are all awesome in here, man. You're making this so much fun for me. Thank you. My rant is calming down because you guys are you're just talking sense into me as well. Joanne, once again, Peter Collins to sit this one out. I see they are doing some overhaul for the. Thank you. I agree. Today was just one big excuse. We're pulling another lever. We're throwing more money at a broken situation. The big. Okay, I can see that, but to play devil's advocate here, if I've been giving 5 million for this project, and then I gave 5 million for that, and I gave for this in the past to Willie's buyout, and I gave to this, at a certain point, enough's enough. You want me to give this much money now once again? Now this time to pay for a coach is to not coach? Like, I get why they have a frustration to it. I really do. At Florida State, we don't have like the power brokers in a sense like an Auburn. Auburn has like 2 or 3 people that really call the shots there. We don't really have that. I don't know if they made calls and didn't get it. Like, I really don't know. And the War Chance of the World and those groups are great people. But, they're not going to like speculate certain things to a certain degree. I would love to see an investigation done of what really is going on. But we can't get that. And I understand why. I'm just being selfish there. But you know what? In their mind, also, if they give to like like the renovations at Doak look fantastic. They look beautiful. In their mind, they're seeing their money go to something every time they come to a game now. In their mind, they're not seeing it if they just pay a coach, not the coach. So I understand that. Say it's 2026, the defense get better and plays hard while the offense stays inconsistent with poor coaching decisions resulting in early losses. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Tony's really won over the fan base this year so much that people are like, this could be the guy. I don't think he has. I like him. I'm not saying that, but everyone thinks we're just going to get somebody for cheap, coordinator or not. Nobody comes cheap. Not with Jimmy Sexton. Buyouts are dead money. Absolutely. It's throwing money down a drain. It really is. It's easy for us to talk about doing it, but unless you're writing a check, yeah, I agree. Dwayne, I've been told Alfred wants him going, but the problem is now he's tied to Alfred. Yeah. Oh, they're definitely tied together. 100% once he gave him that extension. And there's rumors that Alfred's been pushing for other gigs. So who knows if the admin, I don't think they're in lockstep together. I don't care what they wrote together. How can we? Absolutely. Absolutely. And why do you keep paying for players for bad performance at some point? I know a lot of boosters that are like, I'm tired of giving. Now these players are getting paid and they act like they don't care sometimes. I don't think that's the case with us. I'm not saying that, but I'm seeing that it's like at least I'm gonna pay for players, like, I wanna see good results. I'm not getting a return on that investment, so I can see the frustration there too. Trust me, tomorrow's not gonna be a fun day for the Seminole boosters and for Battle's End. Like, I would not wanna be making those calls tomorrow if they have to, or they might be waiting a while. Their job became exponentially harder thanks to Mike Norvell and this, admin. Uh, when did buyouts get paid out for losing coaches? You know what? Because Jimmy Sexton, I keep harping on it. I don't know if you ever like really see these contracts, but Jimmy Sexton makes them so one-sided. The buyouts really, if the coach chooses, like if Mike Norvell got an offer from, let's say, Texas tomorrow, I wish, but let's say he did and he wants to leave, Texas wouldn't have to pay us that much to get him. It'd be like 5 or 6 million. It's us to fire him. He's protected their coaches and made them almost unfireable in some places. I think it started. I mean, it obviously started with Sexton, like the Saban days, that stuff. When Jimmy Sexton, if you're not familiar with him, you hear me keep talking about him. He's the agent for pretty much every college coach, especially the major ones, and most of the ads too. So it's such a conflict there. But yeah, it's basically set up where his client can leave anywhere for almost nothing if they feel like getting up and leaving. And if you want to fire them, you're on the hook for a fortune. And these schools have fallen for this hook, line, and sinker for so long. And here's an example of where it's really bit you. Alfred isn't tied to Norvell. The boosters wanted extended him. Well, okay, this is where I push back because they make the suggestions to them. Alfred, the president, Peter Collins, they're the ones who made the decisions. They were the ones who said, "Can we do this?" I'm sure Peter knew the numbers anyway, but yeah, they like that's why I don't blame Ingram Smith for the battle's end if we overpay for a player it doesn't work out. Uh, But the well, I forgot what I was saying, but because he's just the one. Mike is saying to him, "I want 200,000 for this. I want 300." Yeah, Mike is saying how much for players and that stuff. Alfred had a shint. Yeah, he did. That is for sure. Hindsight's 2020 on that one, but man, that would have been nice to have. But who knows if Lane doesn't leave us for Florida or LSU or something? Who knows if it was he wanted to be in the SEC bad still, but just wanted to come back to Florida for a bit. You just never know with Lane. Uh, I'm familiar with him. He had people thinking, man, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. All I can say is, I'm so sorry. The information Florida State had at the time in front of them said, this is serious. This is legit. So they felt they had to act, and I understand why they did. I don't blame them for it. I just wish they had a little more foresight to say, can we swing this if God forbid this doesn't work out? And I don't think that was done. That's the part that upsets me now. That's so yeah, there. Uh, and like if Alabama wanted to fire DeVore, yeah, it's like 60 or 70 for him. You're right. But if exactly, it's set up perfectly for the coach to leave, but not for the thank you, Lou. And once again, if you're watching Lou's comment here, thank you, Ed, for that great comment too. And everybody tonight, man, this has been fun. More than I thought it would be. I thought it was just me talking to a screen, going nuts. Yes, and Lou's channel, him and his wife Ashley are wonderful people. 305 Sports Babe do great live shows with the Dolphins, St. John's basketball, all sports, hockey, you name it. Marlins, Heat, everybody. They get great guests, awesome people. Check out 305 Sports Babe on YouTube. Great people. Great people. Okay, so maybe I'll just wrap this up soon because I've probably gone longer than I should have gone. But I came across like ranting and this and that, which is not like me. I am still going to support Florida State. I love Florida State. I might make some changes to how I do the operation with it, like donations and that stuff. But that could be done in any year for any reason. But am I still going to be cheering for the school this week against Florida when we take the field of the Swamp? You bet. You bet. Did did I have fun cheering us on in Raleigh the other night? You bet. Like I love Florida State, man. Always will. It today was a big FU in a lot of ways to us. but you got to think, man, at some point we'll come out on the better side. At least I hope. Uh, but I understand completely today fans' frustration. Um, that's what I get, and I just really feel like the message a month ago was for nothing. It was a lie, and that upset me today. But if anybody sees this after, uh, please drop a comment and let's engage about this. But I want to thank everybody who was in the chat tonight. There was some great comments, great banter, great everything. So I want to thank everybody personally because he all deserves. I'm gonna start with Spartan. No, Ralph from Hawaii always brings it. Lou from Dade. Please tell Ashley I said hello. Great talking to you tonight here. Timothy Watts brought some great insight. Jake Hutchison, loyal to the channel. He brought great insight. Ed, once again, brought it. Chris Russo brought it. Nine Crusades, great points. Whom else? I'll make sure get Gianni, my boy Gianni, brought it tonight. Champs 998 brought it. Joanne brought it. And so I want to thank I got Nine Crusades, but I want to thank everyone in the chat or anybody later. This was good. This was therapeutic. No Nation, let's just stick this out. Turning our backs completely on the program does nobody any good. Great show, rant and roll. Oh no, is that going to be my title now? Thanks, buddy. Yeah, if you can hit the like button, people, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, also, if you watch the NC State vlog that I did over the weekend, you're not going to see me all the time saying, "Oh, we're terrible, fire Norvell." Like I didn't do that. I talked to people and got their insights on it, which was really interesting. But you saw me, man. I just enjoyed being there. I'm going to Michigan this week for Michigan, Ohio State. I'm gonna have fun being there. I love college football, man. I'm just not ready to give up on it, even if my team is struggling mightily. So take care, everyone. You guys were all awesome. This was great. This was therapeutic. This was cathartic. Go Noles. If you're not a Nole fan, but you were watching this, thank you for chiming in or watching this. Whatever your reason was, I thank you. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.